Easter Bunny. I guess it's kind of like Antonio Brown's, but it's the Easter Bunny.
Hey-o.
The Garth. I'm out of breath. Happy Easter, guys. We kind of fucked up though. We all cracked them already.
We did, but you know, this is a post crack 'em, crack 'em.
Yeah, post crack 'em, crack 'em.
Hey, this is what everyone was asking 2,000 plus so years ago.
Is he down? Is he down? Did you see him go down?
And then he rose.
And then he rose. the cave door opened or whatever he came out of. And
This loser?
oh wow, we're at that point. Wow. Okay,
Hey, we're just having fun. We're
just having fun. How you guys doing?
Good. Again, we're finding ourselves still finding a lot to talk about in Cowboys Nation leading up to the draft here. I mean, it just does not end.
It doesn't end, man. And you can kind of tell like the big news splash stories are kind of going away.
Yep.
Like you're not really going to get a free agent signing. Zeke's obviously probably not going to be signed anywhere for a while.
Hopkins doesn't look like he's moving.
Everyone's now kind of waiting till the draft to now. So the second wave of free agency will kind of be after the draft, where teams are now trying to fill holes that they didn't draft for. So we're kind of in stalemate a little bit until the draft, but there's a lot to talk about. There's great articles out there. There's still, I mean, you could talk the draft twice a week, no problem if you wanted to, right? So compared to last year, I feel like last year we maybe didn't have as much. We probably couldn't have sustained 2 shows a week, but man, we like to chat Cowboys Nation football right up, baby.
Here's a question we did touch to on the weekly wrap up, but I just wanted to bring it into the room. What do you see? Actually, it'll be a 2-point question.
Ooh, a 2-pointer.
You can answer either one or both.
I feel like it's going to turn into like an 8-point answer.
It could be. Who do you think that the Cowboys have on their top 3 needs? And then what are you seeing online with people saying who the Cowboys should draft?
That's a good question or a good discussion point. Anyways, we've kind of done it live too. Well, when we draft, kind of, but I predominantly am seeing there's if Bijan is there, draft Bijan.
Yep.
But then I'm also seeing that's stupid if you do that. And then predominantly I'm seeing, I think most people are kind of leaning towards guard or tackle even, but the Cowboys front office doesn't seem to be in that position at all. Mm-hmm. Like you brought up in the weekly wrap up, 20% of our visits, the Cowboys visits have been wide receivers. So you'd think, okay, they're probably thinking of getting one of these top receivers if they fall. But
That's what we do.
That's what we do, baby. But how much can you put into those draft visits where last year Tyler Smith didn't even have a draft visit to the Cowboys?
It's probably like one of those things where you're trying to make them think you're going to do something and then you do something completely opposite.
A little smoke screening.
Yep.
That's exactly what I think. Also, I believe it was 4 times since 2010 that the Cowboys have leaked or shown their draft board. I mean, how much of this...
Little dick flash?
Yeah, exactly. Oops. Jerry is an old man, and so he would be the guy who just says, look at this, look at my nude photo. But I think it is mind games. A lot of it's mind games. And like you mentioned, I don't even know if Smith was on there. Yeah, he wasn't on there.
We didn't talk about him. We talked about him last year for 35 seconds, I think. Because he wasn't on any radar.
What they don't want to do, and who was it that they moved up for? Michael Parsons, I believe. They
dropped back.
Oh, yes. Well, they don't want to tip a hat to a player so another team jumps them who's also thinking, oh, maybe the Cowboys, or no one's going to draft him, but the Cowboys have him on his list. So you got to be very sneaky with what you say, what you do, who you bring in.
But like you said in your weekly write-up, there's a weekly write-up, Cowboys Nation. You can find it on cowboyscanfan.com. You can also find it on our YouTube page. We did a video for the people that don't feel like reading. We'll link that in the chat. But you also had mentioned in your write-up, Alex, which is a great write-up, by the way, that the Cowboys are kind of in no man's land of the first round.
Yeah, it's such a shitty...
26 isn't a good spot.
In my opinion, you are either reaching or you're going to trade back and then bank on getting some that middle thickness of the draft.
I think with all these great wide receivers that are projected to go first round, I think 26 just puts us out of that range of any of those guys.
Yeah.
Like Addison, JSN, Quentin Johnston, Zay Flowers. I think those guys are all going to be gone before 26.
Yeah, especially if a run happens in a position of need.
Even the tight ends we've been looking at, Mayer and Kincaid.
Yeah.
I feel like those guys are probably going to be gone by 26, which I'm kind of on the fence about drafting a tight end in the first round anyways. There's a couple good guards. Like this is the thing. And like you mentioned, there could be a run on a tight position and then people get scared and they're like, okay, I'm trading up to get that guy. And maybe the Cowboys end up trading up a couple spots, or they don't like the guy at 26 and they trade back, to 28 or 30.
We got Ultra Cowboy just spamming the chat. I'm just going to give you some, I was going to list the 9 messages that he said, but they're all basically draft Hendon Hooker at 26 so I can watch the Dak groupies meltdown. But he goes, Cowboys had a lot of meetings with Tyler, but they were private, was their 13th player on their big board.
Well, and he was a Dallas Fort Worth kid, right? So they had extensive research on this guy. Guaranteed they've been watching him since high school. So it's not like
to bring him in. Maybe
it's probably why they didn't bring him in.
Is that
be honest?
Could that be then? Is it Steve Avila? That's
Avila,
Arlington guy.
Yeah, he was born in Arlington and played for Texas Christian University. So he's literally been in the Metroplex for his whole football career. But I don't know if I like this guy at 26, just because a lot of, and I'm basing this off of what other people base it off of, right? Like I'm not,
because you can't form your own thoughts and opinions. I get it.
When it comes to the intricacies.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Take it. Is that the right word? Of playing offensive guard and being able to scout them well enough. No, I can't tell you, but guys that get paid to do it for 40 hours a week.
What are we even doing here then?
We're fans. We're Cowboys fan.
We're can fan, like Canadian fan.
Like Canadian fan, dude.
Like Canadian fans?
It's kind of weird that Canada doesn't have Easter on the same time as the States, isn't it?
I don't know if it's Friday or Monday, to be honest. We have Easter Monday.
I have ad thinking it. I have ad thinking about it right now.
I think it is Sunday, but we just do our own thing up north. Hey, you know what? Let's just, I don't know.
Well, the problem
what do you eat? Do you eat a ham?
Well,
we eat ham.
We eat ham.
Is that what it is?
We're having ham today.
Sunday night, you're having ham?
We had ours last night.
Ham?
We had ham.
Okay.
What's more confusing about Easter is that sometimes in at least Canada, not everybody gets Good Friday and Easter Monday off. You get Good Friday off as a statutory holiday. But Monday is
I don't get Monday off.
I don't get Monday off either. But guess who's taking Monday off?
You are?
This guy.
Nice. So another question before we
because our
Sunday service.
Our Sunday services get busy. So
and Easter isn't always on the same day, right? You know what I mean? You'd think it would be an actual kind of Christmas. Christmas is always on the 25th. You think Easter would always be on a certain day?
Does it shuffle?
It shuffles. It shuffles to do. Well, I mean, Good Friday is every Good Friday, and then Easter Monday. There's Easter Monday. It's not always that days. Anyways,
he just gave me a good soundbite that I'm going to poach.
I saw. What?
You heard it? Did you hear it? What he said?
What?
You know what I mean?
Know what I mean?
Know what I mean?
All right, so back to the Steve Avila guys. I don't know. A lot of the experts, like Ad just said that I'm not, have him going kind of in the early to mid second round. And at 26, that seems like it could be a little bit of a
what we're hoping for.
Bit of a little
reach. You're gonna have to, like I said, man. The position is either just bank on reaching on every pick, which I think is a fine strategy, because then at least you're getting a guy that you believe in.
Has potential.
Yeah, and you're not having to select. You have a larger pool of selection if you play it that way. The smartest play for the Cowboys, and no one's going to want to hear it, and I fucking hate saying it, is trading their first round to try to get very early second round and pick up another, if you could, a second round pick. I don't know which team.
I hated that option, but since you've been yammering it the last 3 mock drafts, and when we did that last one, the amount of value we got in
there it is. There's AJ's alarm.
Fuck me.
I don't on Sunday we do these at a different time every Sunday, but there's always at least one alarm.
I have multiple daily alarms. Okay.
Is that in case you vape 10 too early and it wakes you back up to life, or what?
Absolutely. Well, it could be that. It could also just be that I get drug into some sort of doing something editing something or just watching a video, and I need to
snap out of it
and make sure I do shit.
What I was gonna say, I wasn't a big fan of trading out our number 26, but it is kind of a bullshit pick.
It is.
With all the mocks, the amount of caliber of players that you can still snap up in the second round.
Just don't be afraid of it.
Don't be afraid of it. And I also learned the last one that saying training up the board means you're going up into the second. Opposite.
Yes. You want to trade down.
Yeah,
you want to trade down.
Yeah, you want to trade
to move up.
Lower numbers.
Move up in the
Gotta get to
draft.
lower numbers.
Hey, we all learned something. But I will say this, boys. I'm a Charbonnet DTR guy.
Oh yeah, Charbonnet. You know what? Alex has been preaching Zach
love
Charbonnet, and DTR down to Rumble. I like
to
it.
Rumble.
The
I want
UCLA backfield.
That's when like
I'm driving with it.
we have Ultra Cowboy comes in here every fucking podcast and tells us to pick up Hendon Hooker. I'm all for picking up a quarterback. I want Dorian Thompson Robinson.
Yep.
DTR down to
DTR,
Rumble.
Just a
baby.
huge last name.
And I think we'll get him in like if we grab him
Sixth?
6th, 7th round. Fucking like he might go up to the 5th.
You know what though? Let's just talk. Let's talk theoretically here. If we did trade out of the first round and say picked up an early second, we would. So if we traded back into the second round, would you would have 3 second round picks possibly?
That's what I'm saying. You'd have to trade. I don't
It'd
know.
have to be the right team.
You
Right?
have to trade with a team who has 2
second round picks.
or ideally you could trade your first to get their second and third.
Or what about this? You trade just further back into the first, like 30th.
Sure.
Or 31st.
Yes.
And their second pick, right?
Yes, yeah.
So then you get their second pick, you just move a little bit back. Now you got a late first and 2 second rounds.
Yeah,
and
and
you could get some good fucking players in that grade.
This is why I love Draft Talk, because everybody has like very specific opinions. Cowboy fans, like for instance, we have Iceberg Slim. Who,
What up, Slim?
I thought he was Ultra Cowboy the way he talks in the chat. I'm like, is this Ultra changing his name all the time?
I just watched Split yesterday, that movie with James McAvoy. It's like Ultra Cowboys, like 26 of our.
Well, he has like 5 different phones. He has his American phone and his Puerto Rico phone. So he like has different, and you know what? He very well
might.
He goes, so he's having a Ultra Cowboy and Iceberg Slim, they're having a conversation with each other. But Iceberg Slim says, Zach Charbonnet is garbage. Come on.
Whoa!
He goes, give me Israel.
Where's Kilo?
Get
this guy out of the chat.
Where is Kilo?
Israel Abin Kanata or Sean Tucker. And I haven't watched any tape on either of those guys,
No.
and I don't even know who they are. I don't
Neither.
know where they are.
Neither.
Sean Tucker, I see his name pop up, but by that point in the draft, and who knows, again, on draft day, things shift around. I think it's either Bijan in the first.
Oh yeah, set me
It's
up.
not
going to
be Charbonnet in the second, but I would be fine with that. And then it's McBride in the third, potentially the fourth, even.
Yep.
If that's
Not a lot of people are talking about McBride, to be honest, which I like.
Yeah.
I like it, and even if the Cowboys don't get him,
I'm gonna watch. For him.
I'm married to him now.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that I'll always be interested in his career because I just got a little crush
Say
on
with
him.
me in Sharby.
Sharby, Adam with DTR. Like we all have our pet
Now,
cats.
the only thing that will throw a wrench in that.
Moch pit.
No,
Oh, no, Cody
well,
Mach.
let's get to Moch Pit in a second.
Cody Mach is like everyone's wanting. Like he's gonna go high.
Yeah.
The only thing that'll throw a wrench in me cheering for Sharby, for my Sharbs, for the Charbonnator, will be if he goes to those
Eagles?
fucking Eagles.
I mean that's the thing. I'll never
Actually-
cheer for anyone. It was kind of like last year. We all liked the linebacker. I can't even remember his name now. But we were kind of we talked about him a bunch going in, and the Eagles got him in like the third. I was like, well, now I can't even cheer for the dude anymore.
You know
I
what?
won't hate him.
I don't hate him, but I just
will
can't cheer for him.
I will be crushed if they pick up DTR because he's kind of like a Jalen Hurts the way he
If
moves.
Jalen Hurts went out of the offense, maybe he could step in and still run the same type of offense.
That's why we saw the Eagles struggle with Gardner Minshew. Their whole team's designed for Jalen Hurts. Bring up Israel Abin Kanata. He's 220, 5'11". Sounds
Okay.
like it's me.
How do you spell that?
He does a 40 time and he has a 4.32 40 time
Man,
and a 41 inch vertical.
fly.
Are you sure it's not Israel Abacadabra?
Abin Kanaba.
Here's the shitty. Sorry, real quick.
Ultra and Iceberg Slim have to be together because
Okay.
now they're complimenting each other.
Okay, the shitty thing about Draft Buzz is the search function sucks.
It doesn't come up if you kind of get their name
No.
right. You actually
That's
have to
it.
have it bang on.
That's the guy.
There he is. Yeah, Israel Abanikanda from Pitt.
Abanikanda.
From Pitt.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
What's he prospected to go at?
Let me just bring him up first.
His player ratings 81.3 out of 100.
You know,
40 time it's saying 4.41, but that's still fast as fuck for a guy that's 216, probably playing at 225.
Hell yeah.
AJ, you want to toss me one there?
Yep.
My friend. Yeah, because we haven't even had a single crack 'em on live yet, guys.
Fire that fucking pink skin.
Here it is. Oh, yeah, right over the defender.
Egg. Here's an
Hey,
Easter egg. Crack 'em if you got 'em.
crack him if you got him, son.
Look,
Crack him if you got
to be honest,
TBH.
I probably am going to be happy with whatever running back the Cowboys draft.
Same.
I've liked every guy. The only guys I'm not really into, dudes, is these 5. I know it's picking on size, but we don't need a 5'9" running back who's just not going to be a bulldozer. We do need the bulldozer. I'm not saying Pollard doesn't have that in him, but I don't think we want to see Pollard running like that.
No,
having to run like
he's
that.
your lightning. We need thunder.
Yeah.
So that's actually after we took.
Well, 5'9" with tree trunks for fucking.
I'm okay with that, but he's got to be 220 then.
That's what I'm saying.
He's got to be 5'9", 220.
Israel, I've been kind of like 2 inches, 5'9", 5'11". It's the same thing. Unless you crack that 6-footer and you go for a guy in the 5-foot range, motherfucker better be 220.
Tyjae Spears is the guy who people like, or we've had guests on and they've talked him up. I'm just not sold on that size. Same with the wide receivers.
Gibbs is like that too, though. Can we pull?
True.
Gibbs?
Well,
Can we pull
you're
Gibbs
all
up?
right. You are right.
But
You are right.
how gangster would it be for us to be yelling, tip of the spear, as Tyjae Spears is like
Yeah.
going in for a tada?
For as far as us and making up nicknames, Spears is pretty much.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. So 5'9", 199. I mean, he's probably
know.
playing at 205, so he's stocky. But I watched his.
Huge hog.
Oh yeah, for sure. I watched some of his tape. He's kind of like he looks like Tony Pollard. Like his run style is like Tony Pollard. So I agree. I kind of want a guy that you're gonna put in on 4th and 1, or that can block. You know, no one's thinking Tony Pollard's the greatest blocker, and Zeke was a great blocker, and he's gone. So it would be nice to have the running back that we take kind of pick up some of the holes that we got in us with Zeke's departure.
He's not a bad run blocker, but that's not really good if he's running back. He's a terrible pass blocker.
College, yeah, he's a good run blocker. College is hard to judge these guys on their blocking because they're so good that they're not ever back there to block. They're always getting the ball.
It's science.
It's science. Like they're not getting Gibbs to sit back and pass pro and getting him to block, right? Like they're giving this dude the ball or they're sending him out on a route.
Yeah, look, I grew up a size queen. I'm always going to be a size queen. However, in my old age, I've told you this in private conversations, Bat Son.
Bat Son.
Yes, Daddy.
I feel death creeping up on me slowly in these halls.
I can see
hallways
it. I
of
can
our
see it in
house.
your hands.
Hey, can we we're kind of going left field here. Can you pull up Twitter?
Yep.
Pull up the DeMarcus Ware asking Jerry Jones to be his presenter, and I just want like someone to look at me like Jerry Jones looks at DeMarcus Ware. The way he's looking at him, it made me think of this because you said deathbed.
That's it right there.
You said deathbed, and he's
Hang on, I'm going to pull this up.
he definitely he's looking old, but he's also looking at DeMarcus Ware like he is the best Easter present of the decade.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
He's got some googly eyes for Ware, and I mean,
How you doing? You sleep in here? I'm actually here for my 30 visit.
so not this.
I'm here for my
You'll
30
see it
visit.
here
All right. I wish.
when it switches.
Sign you up. But I'm actually here.
They do one more
you know,
camera switch.
You were
Yeah.
the voice that.
It's actually in our weekly wrap-up video.
It is
And
this right here.
keep going.
Look at him. I just need somebody to look. That's a meme right there.
He's going to kiss him.
He's gonna kiss him. And look at the fucking size of DeMarcus Ware. Jeez. I would take another. If DeMarcus Ware was in the draft again, trade up, get him.
That's what Jerry said at the beginning. He's like, I wish we could.
Yeah, like the DeMarcus Ware, probably one of my, because I started watching Cowboys football hardcore probably about 2006, and DeMarcus Ware was by far my favorite player on defense, without a doubt. He was just so good. Oh yeah, crack him if you got him.
that was
son.
a saucy.
That was a spicy
It was spicy.
You know what? It's funny because I have a major feeling that Jerry Jones is wearing his Arkansas offensive lineman shoulder pads under his suit still. And when people walk by them, like, man, Jerry Jones, the billionaire, but he stinks. Like,
Oh yeah, this is Jerry Jones' shoulder line.
How the fuck was he ever on the offensive line?
I mean, he must have shrunken into himself. You got to remember 1956, whatever, when he was playing football, things were a lot different back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I guess.
I don't think.
Yeah.
But even still, like, first of all, just on that comment, I think the shift of like football players' athleticism is just like
Insane.
It's still. I didn't think they were gonna. I thought by this point now we'd see kind of. We know what these players are supposed to be, but now you're seeing even offensive linemen become jacked. Well, they're always jacked underneath.
They're
all
just
that
getting faster and faster and faster and bigger and bigger and
Yes.
more ripped. No, Nolan Smith running as fast as a wide receiver at a running back. The guy's defensive lineman.
Isn't that nuts?
wild.
That's fucking crazy. It's
We're about to
mind-boggling.
see some really good football in these next 5
think
years.
so.
I hope there's a defensive resurgence because
Yeah.
it's a fun part of the game, man. If you think back to like the I guess biggest moments or players, there was a lot of defense, like hard defensive hits. I mean, of course, the rule changes have been good that they're not allowed to clothesline one another and shit like that. But like a lot of what made the
bullshit
NFL into a household game was like the hits, the contact,
Rough and tough, man.
the rough and tough football. Now, like you just mentioned, because of how fast and strong players are getting now, it actually is good for everyone who's watching football for them to put in rules to help. So because these guys are hitting each other too hard.
I think he's on steroids.
And they're wearing armor.
Can I go a little conspiracy here?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it's not even probably a conspiracy. I think it's more so because, in the 80s, 70s, 80s, the NFL was not cocaine, hell of a drug. The NFL wasn't even as close to being as money pit or money maker as it is today. I think it's all these owners just trying to protect their investments.
You're not wrong, I don't think at all. But it pays off for us, the viewers.
Oh, definitely.
Because who wants to like?
Joe Theismann's leg broken into
Well, just think, Anth.
8 places or whatever the hell it was.
When Dak was out for the season,
Oh, it's
it
terrible.
made Dallas Cowboys football really bad, and that's bad for NFL.
Watched every minute of it.
You did, but it shook a lot of
Sucked.
people from watching it. I'm not saying anyone listening to this show.
You know what the heartbreaking part of that was the NFC East was so bad that year that even at 6-10 when they finished, at the end of the season they were still a possibility that they were going to make the playoffs. The team that came out of the NFC East that year had a losing record by a long shot. The Giants, they did not have a good record, and it was like if Dak was not hurt that year, fucking breeze.
Yeah,
that division would have been easy, breezy, beautiful.
Cover girl.
Cover Dak.
But I also just to bring it back
as well.
Yeah, also too as well. Just to bring it back here to Jerry. Just look at that look.
That's a meme. That is a meme right there.
Now I think this is a really. People hate on Jerry Jones, and I've been a Jerry boy. You guys know this since
You've been a Jerry boy
since I've walked in.
Wearing your hat?
Yep, he's wearing an AT&T Stadium
AT&T
hat.
Stadium hat.
That AT&T Stadium.
He only has one now.
No, I have two. I have my blue one.
Oh, I
He
thought
lost
you-
his Nike Air Jordan.
My
Your
fucking
Jumpman.
priceless Jordan hat.
Can fan lore again. That is can fan lore.
Well, you didn't lose
at least
it.
I
You
know-
didn't lose it. The dog.
The dog found it.
But at
Dallas
least
Cowboys Chris's dog.
We know
found
where
it.
it lies.
Yep.
And that'll be put up in the once I actually get my ass in order. I'm gonna create that Can Fan Lore of Fame on our website, and
Each year we have to put
add to it.
3
There's a lot.
things.
I mean, actually, we're gonna have time this draft that we will. Also, too, as well for the draft, we're gonna have a busy show. I'm just gonna jump to this before I get back to my point about Jerry Jones and DeMarcus Ware here.
That's how we roll, Baba.
classic
That's how we go,
fashion.
baby.
We're gonna have a bunch of guests on. We're gonna start to try to schedule it. Everyone is doing their own thing, and it's awesome because you're gonna anyone who out there listening has so much content that they're going to be able to go to and pick and choose from. But we're going to do our best to try to be on other shows. The Grid is going to be doing a draft, so we're going to try to link that up. It's a lot of planning.
UK Cowboys.
And I'm not putting that any on that on the listeners, but just for us, we're going to have guests. We're going to also be doing our own final big board mock draft with the big war room before the draft kicks off. We're going to be doing our annual awards, which will be on the draft. Can we call it a week? The draft trifecta
event.
The draft
trifecta.
event. Yeah. And a couple other things too. So we're going to try to make it worth your while to come and watch the stream
and hang out
with us.
It's definitely going to be our longest stream ever, I think. Although that day that you were in, I forget where you were. You were somewhere, and Alex and I you left after the morning games, and Alex and I stayed and just live streamed the afternoon games. And got drunk, and just our pizza was late.
Yeah,
and
fuck that up.
there was like probably 10 or 20 minutes left in the afternoon games, and we just quit.
We quit. Yeah, we had to tap out.
We just tapped out.
I don't think I was here for
No, you left. You left.
We stayed.
You guys had something. It was the morning game. You guys had something to go do. And Alex, I sat in your seat, and Alex and I just watched the afternoon games and got wasted. And I was like, "Hey, we need to order food." And then the pizza was like 2 hours late.
That's why we need your TV here so that we have a better television viewing for this
When
season.
we're watching seasons, yeah.
I mean, I can set it up so that if
Oh, you need my TV? I'll bring it next Sunday.
I can set it up though that we could have an iPad over there and you can switch this board from being over there.
Yeah.
That's a little behind baseball.
That's a little behind baseball, yeah.
behind baseball, behind
That's what we do.
Bringing it back to Jerry and DeMarcus Ware here. So, start again. Boom. These
Hang on, let me bring it back up.
this moment between them, it really shows you. As I said, I'm a Jerry boy. The players do love Jerry Jones. There's a lot of hate because absolutely he's made some bonehead decisions, and people have a right to be angry at him. But what's nice to see is that his players do love him. And, I hope we see this same type of moment with Zeke Elliott in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Come back, retire a Cowboy, sign a one-day contract or whatever it is that they do. But yeah, just wanted to make that
And he did a
point.
lot for the NFL. He did.
Oh,
for
fuck yeah.
as far as like how the NFL wouldn't be the game it is today without businessman Jerry Jones.
Sure, yes.
Say what you will about the guy, but like you said, look at the way how many players have had him be their presenter.
And how many teams have taken what he did and then built their own? Like, he did come in and build a foundation of how to be an NFL organization and how to be a business, which is, half the game, unfortunately.
But that's the half that fans can't stand, right?
I know.
So the biggest knock that fans have with Jerry is sometimes it feels like they're worrying about the Dallas Cowboys brand more, and respectively they should. They're business, but fans obviously want the one thing: win.
I can get behind the fact that fans are frustrated because at the point where you are in the multiple billions, it's like now you should be focusing on doing everything you can to win every fucking year, no matter what.
So hold up that Lombardi.
Yeah, exactly.
I think you know what?
Like
he should give up. I think it would go tremendous lengths if he gave up his title as GM to Will McClay. Just gave it up and said, okay. I mean, Will McClay has been pretty much the GM of the Dallas Cowboys for the last however many years, but Jerry still just wants that grip on the title.
Yeah,
but whatever.
AJ's doing some research right now.
I'm trying to find. There was this article that showed the top selling jerseys, the top 10, I believe.
Yep.
And I think Cowboys was like.
Well, I imagine you got Micah up there.
It was Micah, CeeDee Lamb, Dak.
And Dak, yeah.
Maybe.
I'm gonna try.
Maybe not.
Maybe
Fuck yourself.
Oh, maybe fuck yourself.
Okay, so while he's trying to figure that out, I mean, we saw that. I wanted to bring this up and dive into it. We didn't. You mentioned it as a headline, and I thought it would be interesting for us to talk about. Where did you see that headline about? Did Mike McCarthy lie?
Oh, that was. I'm pretty sure that was blogging the boys. They had an article saying that Mike McCarthy saying that he wanted to go back to Smash Mouth football, and we did talk about this a little bit. But what the Cowboys are doing are saying the opposite. So they're talking about going Smash Mouth run game, but with their draft visits, it's almost saying otherwise. Which I mean, you're going to see this as Mike McCarthy clearly lying about his, okay, so no, it was on our Home of the Cowboys Can Fan podcast, the Landry hat. So we got Mike McCarthy who was clearly lying about.
Sorry, that was my thing just is acting up. There we go.
Mike McCarthy was clearly lying about his plan for the Cowboys offense by Jerry Trotta 2 days ago. And it basically says
the Troutmeister.
The Trotsky, Trotta the Scotta. Fans of the NFL have a propensity to take everything a coach or high-ranking executive says during the dog days of the offseason to heart. Dallas Cowboy fans are no exception. Look no further than Jerry Jones revealing at the owners' meeting that he wants Terrence Steele to be the team's swing tackle, which the only way that is if he's hurt and he's not back from being fully healthy. Otherwise, there's just no way. At the Combine, Mike McCarthy discussed at length reclaiming play calling duties from a dismissed Kellen Moore. While McCarthy praised Moore's desire to be the #1 scoring offense in the league, the head coach communicated he was willing to trade points on the scoreboard for fewer turnovers, which I think we would all take, right? But there was one line in particular that set the Cowboys nation off. I've been where Kellen has. Kellen wants to light the scoreboard up, but I want to run the damn ball so I can rest my defense. Think when you're a coordinator, you know, but you're in charge. When you're a coordinator, you know, but you're in charge of the offense. Being a head coach and being a play caller, you're a little more in tune. I don't desire to be the #1 offense in the league. I want to be the #1 team in the league. Run the damn ball is a maddening quote, but the Cowboys pre-draft activity suggests McCarthy lied about wanting to do so. So this goes into the Cowboys having 20% wide receivers for visits opposed to like guards, centers, running backs, tight ends, even blocking tight ends. So I think that's kind of where they go into the Mike McCarthy lying about it, or maybe the Cowboys aren't lying. They're just smoke screening what they want to do.
It could also just be that they're probably already sure on who they're going to take on the O-line.
Yeah. It could be that you're like, because you got to think you have 30 visits.
Yep.
If you are certain on a guy, or whatever the reason, one way or the other, then
waste it.
Why would you waste the interview unless there were questions that you needed answered?
Yep.
But otherwise, if you're certain, like, oh no, we're pretty confident that this guy has all of these things that we're looking for,
and these dudes, these coaches in the NFL, Mike McCarthy and his coaching staff, it's not like they don't know any of the coaches in college football. It's not like they don't already have an inside scoop. It's not like they don't already have 3 to 4 to 5 years of tape on said prospect, right? Like you said, I feel like the guys you bring in are the guys that you don't know that well.
Here's my take on actually why you would be loading up on interviewing wide receivers throughout the first. I think they have like maybe the first 4 tiers, a couple players on each one, right? Is because they want to be ready to know to pick the wide receiver if he happens to show up on the pick on those drafts. Like if Addison and Bijan are there, who do you take? In my opinion, Bijan.
Yeah.
Because wide receiver, if I'm thinking video game style, wide receiver's already got an A rating.
Yeah.
Running back has like a C rating
Totally.
right now. So
Totally. And yeah, where right now you get one of these really good wide receiver prospects. Who are they taking over for?
they're not
the
going
offense.
to have the opportunity to really
Not this year, at least.
not this year. Yeah.
So
Now-
that's the thing, where Bijan is coming in and probably maybe not 50-50 with Tony, but 60-40 and still going to have a huge impact.
yeah.
So I agree. I agree with that.
It could also be an idea where they have they could possibly, and I know it may or may not happen, but maybe they might take a veteran wide receiver after the draft, and they just want to make sure that, okay, maybe some of these guys, let's just gut check them and see if we have better value investing in one of these guys that we don't know.
Yeah, what I don't want, you have to be fluid, as Bruce Lee said. Be like water. Fill the cup, fill the bowl.
What, the 1-inch punch?
Yeah, Jerry's going off. Jerry's practicing his 1-inch punch. No, what they need to do is just
DeMarcus Ware.
you need to have a confidence that when the decision gets put in front of you, you know how to make the decision, right? Because you don't know what's going to come up, and there might be it would be smart to include the thought of, is this running back or is this player who we're going to draft, do we have a chance at just picking up someone in free agency, and then there's someone else we can make a more riskier pick on because they're fast or very strong, whatever.
Based on attributes.
Yeah. And then we'll go and we'll satisfy this need by post-draft free agency signing.
Right.
So there's a lot of moving parts. It's not as simple as just being like best player available.
That's why it's fun, right?
now.
Like we could talk. We're probably going to talk about this. Well, we are for the next 3 weeks till draft, and it's gonna, like when the 26th pick comes up, it's exciting. Like it's as close to as the feeling of a football game as you're going to get in the offseason.
What I'm looking forward to is we'll have our own big board. Basically, we're going to be EJ Savage's Boys in the Zone, which I think is really.
You know what I kind of want to do? I want to take EJ's, CBS, PFF, ESPN, And I'm sure there's another big one that we could take.
Yep.
And kind of just, I'll take the time and I'll go through the top 200 prospects. And then it'd be interesting to see the average of each player.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Yeah.
And then maybe just make that as like the Can Fan big board where it's just
We don't have our own.
taking-
We don't have our own opinion, so we're taking the average of everybody's
our
opinion.
board is we're riding that coattails of EJ Savage, aka Boys in the Zone.
We're going. He's our Mike Mayock.
I
He's
think-
Can Fans Mike Mayock.
I think the Sunday service before the draft, we make our own big board. We take everybody's,
we could.
and then we devise it. We look through it.
For the sake of time, we'll
Truncate it, of course.
we'll pre-do it.
I was
we'll
gonna
make
say,
it seem-
maybe not live stream it.
Okay, so here's some comments from chat as we're going through this. Ultra Cowboy says Cowboys finishing 3rd in the division.
Whoa,
Based off of what though? Like what's that based off of? The
Ultra.
Cowboys are the only team, but the Cowboys have gotten an A+ in offseason activity so far.
You can't tell me that both Washington and the Giants improved their team
To beat the Cowboys.
to beat the Cowboys.
Not a fucking chance. Not a fucking. They signed Daniel Jones to $45 million a year. That was their big splash. They actually got worse by doing that.
You're getting us fired up.
Get us fired up. There's just no fucking way. The only way, barring injury. Barring injury.
Boys, Kilo C just
What
arrived.
up?
Oh!
1 second.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, you
Kilo.
know what to hit. You know what to hit.
Okay, I'll hit it.
Yeah, get it. Get it.
Smoke weed every day.
We have Iceberg Ultra Cowboy 2.0. Slim says the top 4 draft targets confirmed: Bijan Robinson, Steve Avila, Dalton Kincaid, and Jamar Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, that's the smartest thing this guy said this whole time, but he's not wrong. Those are probably the biggest. I don't know if I'm sold on Gibbs or Avila at 26 though.
Neither. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at Avila.
I
at
want
26.
I want Torrance, Osiris Torrance, if he's available. I'd rather have him over Avila, but
Yes.
I maybe they're both gone even.
Okay, so Ultra says, "How can you guys?" So this is before we made that comment. So Ultra says, "How can you guys be so positive with Dak as your QB?
We're Canadian, bro.
You need to go to church since Dak is your QB." I'll
tell you.
Hey, Ultra, it's your QB too. You're a Cowboys
Ultra,
fan. You're flying from Puerto Rico to the draft.
I'll tell you why.
Sorry.
I'll tell you why, because he's just a top 10 QB.
Oh, mic drop, boo. He is though.
we can disagree on that, but the statistics prove otherwise. Now there is an argument that you might say, but that's not good enough to win a Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah.
But I think that a football team has a lot of moving parts. A solid quarterback. I believe that Dak, there's no reason to make a change. He has he has the ability to be on a championship level football team. The Cowboys do need to make sure that they make the right moves to compensate that. And it's no blame on a quarterback or not. Now, there's a blame on Dak when he throws a shitty pass, but is that going to change under the Mike McCarthy offense? And hopefully we
Possibly.
don't see that.
Okay, so
I mean, that's all TBD. Right now,
yep.
that's the quarterback we're rolling in with. So, yeah, I have to feel fucking confident with it.
Yeah, he's better than whatever the Commanders are going to field and whatever the Giants with Daniel Jones are going to be.
Here's the thing. I would not feel good about going in with Hendon Hooker as our starting QB
No, me either.
into the season.
I wouldn't mind drafting a quarterback this year.
I wouldn't mind
Look,
drafting a QB, not at all.
DTR behind Dak Prescott, because as soon as DTR gets into that onto that team, Cooper Rush is going to be 3rd string. It's just facts. I'm just saying, it's just facts.
Rush Hour.
I wouldn't mind that,
Rush Hour Part 3.
Yeah, Rush Hour Part 3. No, you know Rush Hour.
Rush Hour Position 3.
No, Rush Hour is his job is there to help DTR become number 1. That's
Oh,
what
and
it
he
is.
would love it. He would.
I
he would
wouldn't
take
mind.
that.
I wouldn't mind that, because that would just mean that DTR is that much better. Because Rush is
A solid 2.
Yeah, he's
proven it.
He does his job as the backup quarterback has a big job. He has to go get the main quarterback coffee. He has to help him with plays.
if he's smart.
Okay, a couple more comments. Mike McCarthy is a great QB coach. He's from the Bill Walsh coaching tree. That's from Iceberg Ultra Cowboy 2.0
Yep.
Slim. Ultra Cowboy says, I am not Iceberg. Iceberg Slim that says, I remember Ultra Cowboy from last summer. He hates Jalen Tolbert. Sam Howell beat Dak is what Ultra Cowboy saying. Ultra Cowboy saying to Alex, top 10 in regular season and the worst QB in playoffs.
Playoffs.
Okay.
And then he says Cowboys barely beat the Giants last year, and the Giants added weapons, so that's why he's.
So did the Cowboys, though.
I hate to make excuses, but a banged up backfield and then Pollard snapping his leg kind of really capped the end of the season for the Cowboys too.
Oh my God. I just can't. I'm still like, I've still kind of blocked out. I haven't rewatched that. I usually at some point end up rewatching a game. I haven't rewatched the Niners game because I'm pretty skeptic. I'm like, when I know I'm pretty positive as a Cowboys fan, but I'm super skeptical as soon as we get into the postseason. And I was finally at the point that I was like, I think we're gonna exercise the San Fran demon today, and we just got so let down that I can't bring myself to watch that game yet.
Hey, I have to say too, I didn't notice. Is that a new cap?
No, this one I actually wore this in the draft.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Tay bought it for me. I don't know, for my birthday or Christmas one year. I just don't rock it that much. Because white hats, I'm just such a fucking mess that white hats are never a good idea for me.
My white digs.
Oh, I have
It's
my
my
white
dirty jersey now.
Yeah.
Look, my white one's right there. I'll rock the bandwagon boys one. That's my first Cowboys hat ever.
That is, yeah.
And it's a little dirty, but I have to give you guys some more comments from chat here.
Keep it coming.
Yeah, keep it rolling.
Sunday service is about.
baby.
Okay, so the user No says, what's more likely, Cowboys winning the Super Bowl or Jesus coming back?
Well, so the Jesuses came back once. The Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowls. I'm just using math here. Cowboys winning the Super Bowl.
I will say this though, it could be that Jesus comes back in a made-for-TV movie or
Starring
something
who? Who would star
in like
Jesus?
Disney. Who would star as just a fucking what's his name?
Zac Efron.
Zach Efron. It's a solid pick.
Okay, that's really good. I was
Great
gonna go
abs.
with shoot again. The guy who's on
Chris Rock.
Limitless.
Oh, Bradley Cooper.
Bradley Cooper.
Oh, yeah, that'd also be a good pick.
Stephen White showing back up. He says, I've been listening in. Might as well say hi to y'all. Haven't seen him in the chat for a while. Ultra says Jesus coming back.
Hey, look, we got some Jets family in the house.
I know, and then there's Jets family in the house.
Jets, Jets.
I don't
hate the
The
Jets.
thing I love about the Jets is the simplicity of that logo.
Yeah, just
Let's not get fancy.
Let's not get fancy.
Open up Microsoft Word or what? What was the
Paint.
MS Paint? Yeah, and get me a logo right now. Well, just say Jets.
Dakota J saying OBJ is flying at NY tomorrow, meeting with the Jets. In-depth meeting.
Jets.
OBJ and Rogers. OBJ and Rogers.
Man, I mean the Jets. If
Hey, you can have them.
If the Jets do get Rodgers, they automatically become a Super Bowl favorite. I mean, they had a great season last year.
Yeah.
with fucking mumfucker Zach, whatever his name is.
Without Zach Wilson and then Brees. What is it? Brees Hall. Who's their running back?
Yeah, Bryce Hall.
Bryce Hall.
Yeah, the guy's legit.
Yeah.
Sauce Gardner, like the Jets look like they're primed to. They're a quarterback away from being very good.
And then No follows up with shout out to Judas for the long weekend. Everyone took a minute.
That's good. Glad to process the story.
Yeah, exactly. You have to process the story. Okay, you wanted to bring up the jersey thing.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to show that I
Is
wasn't
this the
a liar.
top 10?
This is on NFLshop.com. So
Allen's number 1. Interesting.
Allen number 1, but look at this.
Small market, which is interesting.
Yeah, but Parsons number 2.
And is this so? This means it's the white jersey then, like Patrick Mahomes.
I guess,
it's his red jersey that's the seller. Okay,
I guess, yeah.
All right.
But look, out of the top, what are we here? 6? 3 are Cowboys.
Well, 7 including Allen.
1, 2. Well, just if you cut it off at Prescott.
Oh, okay, yeah,
then,
right.
Got the top 6 are.
You got 50%,
and the only top. Well, Justin Jefferson deserves to be there, but look at it. It's all quarterbacks except for Parsons, Lamb, and Jefferson.
Yep, I like it, man. I mean,
that goes back to show why the business side is so important, because the players all get a little bit out of the merchandise sales as well. So they want the NFL to be as big as possible, so it keeps that extra check coming in.
I do have a little bit of a gripe with the hat you're wearing, AT&T Stadium. Not your hat itself, but the place.
Yeah.
How the fuck do they not have a CeeDee Lamb Thanksgiving Day jersey for sale? That's what I had my Micah Parsons, right? I have my blue Micah Parsons. So I was like, well, I want a player that I don't have. I wanted to buy an 88 CeeDee Lamb, our number 1 wide receiver, fucking sick Thanksgiving Day jersey. They didn't have it.
Who'd they have again?
They had Zeke, Dak, Micah, and who was the 4th? It wasn't CeeDee.
Schultz.
Yeah, Schultz. Maybe TP20? No, I can't even remember who the 4th was.
Maybe there were only those 3, but yeah. Then we did ask the guy, like, hey, so what if we wanted a Tyler Smith rookie the rookie jersey.
had to go to the outlet.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So we need to, for this Thanksgiving, we got to actually set a day where we do an outlet day where we actually go to that outlet that everyone keeps telling us about.
Well, you'd assume that the number 1 wide receiver with the iconic 88 would be in the pro shop in AT&T Stadium for their Thanksgiving Day jersey. I was just very flabbergasted by that.
Unless the Thanksgiving jersey next year is like just something really cool. Last year's was cool because it was a throwback.
Yeah.
But I want like a third jersey, like the lightning one or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but like something that
the white on white thing.
Color Rush?
Yeah, maybe it was like the Color Rush.
Color Rush was cool. Those black jerseys were all black jerseys were pretty cool. I was looking down at the in Bellingham, which is just across the border from us, probably about an hour drive. I was looking at the sports store. You know that hoodie you bought down there? They have them on clearance there right now at their store. So I can't wait to cruise down there and maybe pick one of those bad boys up. What size did you end up getting? A medium or a large?
Me?
Well, what size is that? Is that an XL?
This is like an XL, I think.
Oh, it's an XXL.
No, it's an XL. Sorry.
XL, okay.
And you were telling me, don't get it. It's going to be too big. And I actually like the size of it.
Yeah, because I was looking at jerseys at that shop because they have a bunch of nice last year's, not jerseys, hoodies on discount. So I'm going to be cruising down there.
Toss me one, son.
Yeah, me too, AJ.
We have, so Iceberg Slim says, hey guys, I want Dalton Kincaid. We got the pieces to move him all around the board, out wide in the slot in the backfield. Atlanta Falcons don't have the pieces to do that for Kyle Pitts.
Yeah. I mean, and the funny thing is Dalton Kincaid, his first name's the same name as Schultz, and 2, he was number 86 in college. So he would just roll in, take Schultz's jersey. Kind of looks like he could fit right in with the clone zone. Oh, yeah. I mean, for the storyline of the clone zone, it's literally like you're...
I want it just for that. I want Dalton Kincaid just to know that he's going to walk in. He's going to be in his rookie year. And bring him up for a second. And actually, can you bring up all 3? Can you bring up Kincaid, Hendershot, and Ferguson? We don't need to bring up...
images?
Yeah, no, bring up images. We don't need to bring up... Who's the 4th guy there now?
McKeon.
We don't need to bring up McKeon. I just want Hendershot, I want Ferguson, and I want Kincaid. But he would, I imagine Dalton Kincaid would show up, and literally those two, because they've lost Dalton Schultz as like their leader, their captain.
They try bullying him?
No, they don't. I think they just fall in line, and now Dalton Kincaid in his rookie season becomes the leader of the clone zone. That's what it would be.
The only way I want us to take tight end for a guy named Dalton that wears 86 is if he comes in as the Cowboys rookie first overall pick at 26, and he has a better season than Schultz ever had. Yeah, that's the only way I want it. I feel slighted by Schultz. I really do. I feel like I don't know, as a 4th round pick who had good years. Oh yeah, this guy's gonna fit right into the clone zone.
Soon as AJ gives it,
well, it's a hard request.
It's just I don't know. I'm still not sold at tight end at 26, but
no, it's
storyline would be good.
Dawson Keegan showing up in the TikTok.
What's up, Dawson? What up, Doss?
Do you want them side by side?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, AJ's work. You're like Joe Rogan's Jamie, AJ. Way funnier though.
Probably smaller PP.
Well, AJ's getting these set up. Let's do one of these.
Let's go do 2 of these.
Yeah, get double crack them.
Double crack them if you got them, son.
On the Sunday server on Easter Sunday.
Sunday server, is that like is it like a Counter-Strike chat on Steam?
Yeah, welcome to the Sunday server. No hacks.
Yeah, no hacks, no hacks. And then as soon as someone gets like a 20 to 1 ratio, they're just like, hack. He's hacking. He's hacking. Okay, you ready?
I think.
All right, here we go.
So here's we could take him, and he's from Utah, right? Like, I feel like that's blue, or you're kind of blue collar if you played in Utah.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's coming. That face looks like he's tearing up from what he's seeing happening in the locker room.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
what's going on in here, guys? Why are you doing that to each other?
And he knows. Is it Hendershot that's in the middle?
Yep.
Hendershot's just like, he's not taking Hendershot wants it. Fergie just wants to be the new Gronk.
Fergie looks like
he knows that there's like a space for that bad boy TE, and he wants it, or that fun-loving frat boy TE.
That's funny that you say frat boy. Ferguson looks like he just beat you at beer pong, and he's got those drunk eyes flexing on you.
He looks kind of like Morv right now.
Totally.
Yeah. As much as we do need an O-line, you look at our top 5.
Yep.
Okay, we got 4 T's and a Z.
I like it. I like that too, by the way. 4 T's and a Z. I wanted to put that into the video. I just didn't know how it could.
It wouldn't translate.
It just couldn't translate.
But we can start referring to them that way.
4 T's and a Z.
4 T's and a Z. But I feel good about those guys, but they're probably not going to be. That's not going to be the line for every game throughout the next season.
I think our starting left guard isn't on the team right now.
Okay.
That's my thought. I don't think our starting left guard's on the team right now.
But this is why I say you could push that O-line pick, because there are some tackles who we've learned about that can slide into that Tipperman or whatever his name was, I think.
Tippmann,
yeah. And a guy who, or a center or a tackle who can play guard, that's as good as drafting a guard too. So
Definitely.
So it opens up the window a little bit for that selection. And this is why I feel tight end is. What was that?
I don't know. Were we in the fucking Sarlacc pit or something in
that
Star
me?
Wars? No, that was Ant.
Oh,
That was or the fucking.
because my stomach was grumbling too.
No, we were the garbage dumpster on the fucking Star Destroyer.
Oh, fuck. That's
or the
funny.
Death Star.
Sorry, guys.
I heard it, but it was over there. But my stomach was grumbling too. So I'm like,
Fuck
what the
me.
fuck? Am I tripping? Oh no! I'm past 10. I'm past 10.
It's that apple cider vinegar gummy I gave him.
Yeah.
Fucking gurgling.
The
Skip Bayless boy.
tight end, I think tight end is a hard need. I think the position is.
I feel like it's
cement.
I feel like it's plug and play. Like in our offense, you could plug in a good blocker who's with these two guys who still could be good.
No, you
True,
need but you need to draft a plug and play TE. You
Yeah.
can't just put any TE in that position.
But I feel like if you pick a guy anywhere
do
between the 2 and the 4th, second and the 4th, they're going to be good enough to have production on
Okay.
this team.
so you don't think
You've
you don't
cooled
think
me
that
down a little.
you don't think Hendershot or Fergalicious could fill that void?
That's what I
of-
mean. Again, one of these guys might be good enough. Fergalicious might already be good enough. Do we have anything to bank on that? No. That's why I still think you could take a tight end in the top 5 as kind of insurance policy, because they're still, to me, Ferguson and Hendershot are unknown and didn't have good enough seasons for everybody. Everybody's sold on these guys, and I'm
but
not.
fair
I'm
enough.
not sold on them.
BPAN, you've got Mayer or Kincaid or both sitting there at 26.
Oh, if Kincaid's there, it's going to be
It'll be hard to say no.
It'd be hard to say no.
Because
He can block. He can catch.
He can even kick field
He
goals.
can even kick field goals.
Here's the thing. I have come back from the draft using a time machine that I invented. And let me tell no. I wish though.
Flux capacitor. Did you have to use it?
Yes. Yes, I
Do you know what the flux capacitor is?
It's not a 80,
show it.
9.21.
9.2 gigawatts.
No, it's 1.21 gigawatts.
Is that what it, okay, I had the
But
numbers
this is
right.
A flux
Just-
capacitor. Doc Brown saw this. He saw this Y after he cracked his head, and he knew
On the
that
toilet.
that was good. That thing right there was going to allow him to time.
so that's how AJ did it. He cracked his head on the toillet, and but what do you say? So you went.
he cracked his
I
head
said
on
I went.
Brian's
I was
toilet.
just. I was just saying I went in time, and if they, because now that I come back in time, I could. Did I just change the timeline? I don't
did.
know.
Possibly.
Did you just win us a Super Bowl?
But they did draft Kincaid.
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
I honestly, Kincaid's the one that I think if they take at 26, I won't hate. I wouldn't like any of the other guys, honestly.
Okay,
Kincaid, if they get him at 26, I wouldn't be mad.
And then you got to look at what they do in the rest of the draft. There are some good guards that we've liked, or that I like. Is Savala is a good one who constantly is available for the Cowboys at an appropriate pick for whatever second or third round that he's there.
Machi Pitt.
Tight end. There's this dude. I think his name's Davis Allen. He didn't do much, but he's a big guy who, if he's just coming into play, he could be the red zone threat of the tight ends, and
Well,
that
they even have Darnell Washington. Is that the big
Well,
the big
yeah,
dude? They
okay,
have
so-
him falling back possibly into the second
So
too.
Darnell Washington, so Chris Graham just said Darnell Washington. Everybody keeps popping in Darnell.
Yeah, the
Darnell
guy's a
Washington's
fucking
name
beast.
has popped up on our chat for almost the entire episode.
It makes sense. The guys.
What does chat think?
Just-
do they
ju-
hate
well,
tight end? Or
Okay,
do they
well,
love tight end?
that's what I'm going to tell you. I was going to tell you, but you
take us on a little story time.
I was going to tell you if you let me do my fucking hey.
Story time.
Story time with BWB1.
I'm the guy who does his job. You must be the other guy.
Kilo C says I'm not sold on.
Would you just look at it?
Kilo C says he's not sold on either of them, Anth.
Yeah. Okay,
Jeremy
fair.
Anilo says give me Bijan or Gibbs over any TE in the draft.
That's how I feel.
No says first off, love the shades. Second, Banks is the first round pick that will send us over the edge. We have in terms of the TE.
Second,
So
Banks?
they're saying they're saying
Okay.
Deontay Banks.
Yeah,
Cornerback.
so no, and earlier on, no said Cowboys must draft Banks with the first pick. Second round, grab tight end Washington, can't fail.
Washington in the second at 58. I don't think he's going to be there, but if he was, and we hadn't obviously went tight end in the first round, I think that'd be a fucking great pick.
Ultra says Darnell Washington makes it to 26. That will be the pick. He will be the best offensive guard in the draft.
I think he'll be there at 26.
With CB, if the Cowboys want to go out and say our identity is we have a good rush line, I believe.
Edge at least.
Edge at least. Well,
Like edge, like our outside
yes,
guys.
yeah, the guys
Obviously,
who are going to
there's
be
getting
hurrying
sack
the
numbers.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with what we have. So if your identity is going to be, and we're going to just pick off any unperfect pass, and so you're just adding Arsenal to the secondary there or the cornerback position, okay, then I would hope that. But does Dan Quinn scheme to that? I don't fucking know. I don't pay enough attention to know that, especially after the first quarter.
Well, cornerback's kind of in the same situation as wide receiver now. If you draft
what
the
I'm
guy,
saying.
if you draft the guy in the first, where does he fall in the pecking order? He's not going to be starting.
If it aligns that makes the most sense, and you have to pick a cornerback in the first round because
He's just the best player.
Right.
You're looking at adds giggling. You're looking at him to take over for Gilmore the following season.
No, my wife is trolling me in the chat. She goes, Universal Edmonton.
Ad got fooled by an April Fool's Day joke.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm not even going to bring it up on air. Kilo C says clones have now become folklore. That totally threw me off.
It is true, yeah.
I was like, Universal Edmonton. What's weird? Luke Musgrave. This is from Ultra Cowboy. Luke Musgrave, 6'6", 255, 4'6", 40, and he has wide receiver.
Oh
feet.
yeah, and he's going to be available
Sure.
later on.
So look, maybe tight end is the. I mean, again, any way you shuffle it,
Who's this fucking guy?
I
that's Luke Musgrave.
in my mind, tight end is still there, but I believe I'm like hard running back. If Bijan's there, that's who I fucking want.
Okay. We've been playing tight ends a little too much here. Let's go to something that we know Anth Bess is gonna splooge all over.
Linebacker, do it.
What round 4 linebacker do you want? Says Chris. Ask Chris Graham.
If Dorian Williams is there, which he might not be by the 4th round,
We got him. We've got him. late
Noah
every other
Sewell.
round.
Noah Sewell would also be a guy in the 4th round that I think you could take a flyer out. Those are kind of the two guys I've looked at the most. The linebackers that I'd possibly want earlier than that.
Earlier than round. No, he just asked round.
I know
4.
round 4, so I've only really looked at the couple guys. The other guys that we've always taken, we've taken them way sooner than the 4th. But Dorian Williams, I mean, there's D Winters who you could get even later than the 4th, probably 5th round.
Did we take Dorian in the 4th or the 3rd?
I think we got him in the 3rd.
Yeah,
he's moving.
He's ranked at 94 right now.
He's moving up some boards.
Dorian, yes, but on the
Noah Sewell though.
on our top tool of research, pff.com, mock draft,
Totes.
Dorian does drop and drop and drop. I don't know that that's going to happen on draft day because the kid does look like he has some.
It's just his size
It's
that
his
people are
size?
scared about.
But again, I keep coming back to, is this the evolution of a linebacker who, okay, it doesn't matter. He's literally either going to be rushing in, and that's still a formidable size, 6'1", 235.
Oh yeah, it's not like he's 5'8".
Exactly. But can also drop back and play coverage and play with these evolving tight ends. Even though he's not the size, it's being able to keep up and then knock the ball. So I don't know. There's something interesting here that I'm seeing, and maybe I just because I'm paying attention this draft, but the linebackers are not like of a massive breed.
Okay, bring up this
They're
guy.
still bigger than me.
Okay, Iceberg Slim is saying bring up Owen Papio. He's 232 pounds. He runs a 4.39 40 time, and he has a 40-inch vertical.
What is he?
Linebacker Owen Pap.
Owen Paps. Owen
Papio.
Paps me up.
There's a 4th. He's a 4th rounder. He's ranked 191 on PFF. And he's 6 foot, so he's a little bit shorter, but
a lot of
he's got
small
some
guys.
size. He's got some size. I thought Darnell was or Dorian was 5'11". I didn't know he was 6'1".
No, it's just he's just not. His weight's kind of small. You know, for me, I want a linebacker who's like, I think middle linebacker is more important for us right now because we kind of have Damone Clark, and if Jabril Cox can ever turn that corner, we kind of have some guys that are like that already. I kind of want the prototypical Brian Urlacher type guy.
Me too. I think the Cowboys should really look to add size. If you think about across the board, tell me right now, who are the like mammoths on the Cowboys in terms of their physical
LVE.
stature? LVE is big one.
On defense, yeah. LVE's probably on Anthony Barr was, but he's not there anymore.
Yeah.
LVE's probably he's your prototypical middle linebacker size. But once you get
big.
but defensive line, right? So your edge rushers are all going to be big guys.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the field, obviously Hankins is a fucking mammoth.
They're always
Re-signed
big
him.
guys. I mean, Micah Parsons playing between linebacker and edge, and he's like that
but he's
hybrid.
not really
a hybrid, right?
They're never really putting Micah in at middle linebacker on, even when it's first down and you expect them to run. LVE is going to be the guy manning the middle of the field, and then Micah is going to be strong side linebacker. I want the guy that can, if when LVE's done or if he gets hurt this year, someone that can step in, which right now we don't have that player. Why do you think when Hankins and LVE both went down, it was basically like just an open door up the middle of the field because you didn't have those bruisers. You could just take a guard or take a center and they could pick up the middle linebacker who's only 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", 215 to 235 pounds. I want the guy that can go head on, which it would be a Noah Sewell, Pio. How do you guys say his name? I'm going to butcher it.
Piola?
That's a guy.
Let Alex say it so that he's
Alex, actually, you guys both nailed it the last time. Both those guys are dudes that are going to, on the snap of a ball, meet you at the line of scrimmage and cause some havoc, right?
That's what I think. That's what I think we need. Like,
Totally.
I think the skills, and maybe you can never have enough of this, but you know, this is my argument. I think the skill players are there and in place. We have, you know, barring fucking TP's recovery here, every position I believe has that player who can be a difference maker. If you think about our levels of defense and levels of offense, and offense improved dramatically in the wide receiver department, so that's great. But so now it's like about adding those guys who just are going to be physical specimens out there. Who
they're gonna punch you in the mouth,
who
basically.
can bruise you up.
Iceberg Slim says, can Drew Sanders play middle linebacker?
I mean, he's still, yeah. I think Drew Sanders could. He reminds me of kind of a Sean Lee a little bit.
And then he said,
he's big.
And bring him up.
He reminds me of a Sean Lee, dude.
And then he says Nolan Smith may fall to 26. He's an athletic freak nature. I doubt Nolan Smith is going to be falling.
If he's
to 26.
there, he's a guy too. Like
you
at
gotta
26,
take
you
him.
got to take him.
You have to take him.
I think at 26, he's going to be your
That's
best
the
player
AJ.
available.
That's the AJ pick. That proves that AJ went to the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait to just go back and see the draft and see what we hit on and what we missed on. That's going to be the fun part.
We've been having a lot of fun. I guess
Cowboys can't have predicted this draft.
How funny would it be on one of our mocks that's like bang on?
The DTR one where they do all the trades.
Or
and
even
stuff?
or
Oh
even
my
if we
God.
get like even if you get out of the 7 picks, if you get like 4 of them, that's pretty impressive.
we are. I don't know. We can keep going. I don't give a shit. But we're at an hour
yeah,
here.
we could wrap her up here.
So what are we gonna do? Anything special for our next draft, which is gonna be on the 12th? So EJ Savage is coming on the 19th again.
Okay. I'm sure we could find. I could probably get Deffy on the 12th. I bet.
You know who was supposed to be on today's episode?
Cowboys Chris. As soon as you said that, I thought that.
Can you message him after and let's line it up?
They do Cowboys. They do their Cowboys huddle. Shout out Cowboys huddle on Wednesdays.
No, for next Sunday.
Yeah, I'll get it. I'll message. I got his phone number.
Okay.
But yeah,
We'll think something up because last week we did it. We all had to pick a position. Chat got a position for the top 5 rounds, and then we rolled or we spun a wheel. I thought that was kind of funny. I think a dice would be funny.
I got
we all pick. So us 4, whoever we get, or us 3, and whoever our guess is, all pick one. Chat picks one, and then if you roll a 6, it's a trade or something. I don't know, something fun like that. A dice would be good.
Oh, so we're each a number.
Yeah.
And then each trade we just roll the dice, and that's
It would also be funny. We're all a number, and whatever number rolls gets the pick.
That's what I think. That's what I thought you meant. Like
I meant like yeah. I kind of meant, but but if one went, you couldn't do it. But say it's a 1 and then a 1 and a 1, that person gets to pick.
Yeah.
We can try to sway them, but they get they get the final say.
They get the.
I think that'd be a fun way to something like that would be fun.
You know, Jerry's gonna be waiting that dice.
All right, man. Yeah. Hey, Sunday service on Easter Sunday. Another blast. Bandwagon boys, how'd you feel about it? You felt pretty good?
I feel relived or what?
Rebirth?
Yeah.
Raised. We just want to thank chat for coming out and hanging out on Sunday. It's always a pleasure. Appreciate the...
They all already dropped as soon as we said, oh, is that it for the show? And then boom.
Okay, they're gone. Well, fuck you, chat, for not ride and die until the end. All right, Bandwagon boys. Nth Best here. We will be back live 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Wednesday night for our 8th mock draft. 8.0, boys.
8.0.
And are we allowed picking people that we picked before?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
If you're there at that point and it's your number, it's your pick, baby.
Last time we were just that was the hardest draft. We put up a lot of rules.
We did.
Love
All
it.
right, guys.
All right.
We'll see you Wednesday.
Peace.